A long, long time ago, when I was much younger and less wise, a great battle took place on these ancient grounds, and I barely made it out alive with my life. But no, this is not a story of failures. It's a story of triumph. I'm sorry about that. Chris made me watch all the Lord of the Rings, so we're kind of going through a phase right now. Hello everybody, I am Chantel, and welcome back to another video. Idlewild. It's one of the harder courses on tour. It kicks a lot of people's butts, including mine last year. And I just want to go over the differences between last year and this year. Because this year, I made the top 10. Much different from last year. I think I was like 5th last. So as you may know, last year, Idlewild, it was a pretty hard time for us. Our car just blew up. It was a terrible weekend for disc golf, honestly. There was so much rain and everything was super slick. This year, things went a lot smoother. We didn't have a car explode. We actually had pretty good weather. So Idlewild was a week after Ledgestone, and if you didn't know this, I had a really hard time at Ledgestone, so my confidence took a little bit of a beating. But since we got there a whole week early, I had 4 practice rounds to practice at Idlewild, and me and Chris made a great game plan, and I was feeling pretty confident. We decided that I was going to play for par, because last year I was nowhere near par, and if I just scored par, it would have been a really, really great improvement. So starting off on round 1, I was a little nervous because Idlewild is very intimidating, and I had a couple bogeys, but then I started to get more comfortable, found my pars, and I made it out with a +4. I was pretty happy with that actually, because that was 4 strokes better than my best round that I ever did. So, couldn't complain. So a +4 was rated a 946, and I was tied for 21st. That was a huge improvement from last year, and I was feeling pretty good. I knew that some of my nerves were holding me back, so I was really excited to get back to the course and give it another go. My first round last year was a +20, rated an 874, which it was my first Disc Golf Pro Tour debut. I was being filmed a little bit here and there, and it was pouring rain. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just a terrible time that I wish that I could forget. I'm just kidding. It made me who I am today. So a 16 stroke improvement on the first day. I was super happy with this, and I was just excited to get back on the course because I knew that I could do even better. So round 2, I was really excited to get the day started, but we were expecting thunderstorms and rain. We were able to get through 6 holes, but then they called us in and we had to wait for a couple hours until we could go back out. We had tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings, and we actually went back to the hotel just to hang out until everything cleared up. I was feeling a little bit more aggressive than day 1, and I was able to get some more birdies that I did not have the opportunity for the day before. But also with some of that aggression, I started getting more bogeys and a double bogey. So there's such a fine line between too aggressive and not aggressive enough, because you want those birdies, but you don't want those bogeys. So it's just something that I'm still trying to figure out. Before this round, I finished at an E, and that was a 972 rated round. So this was perfect because I was aiming for par and I got exactly that. I still wanted to clean up my mistakes because there was more bogeys than I wanted, and I definitely did not want a double bogey. So that was my goal for the next day, to clean up the bogeys, even if you're not birdieing as much. It is okay. That is what we were here to do. And with this even round, that put me in tied for 10th, which is so crazy because I have never been even close to the top 10. So just playing for par and being in the top 10 was really exciting because I still felt like I was leaving a lot out there. So round 3 is here and I am so excited to get the day started. I promised myself that I would still play for par, but still be kind of aggressive. So obviously when I'm there for a putt, I'm gonna run it. And that's basically my approach to being aggressive. So I started off really hot. I birdied 1, 2, and 4. And I parred everything else on the front 9. So -3 through the front 9. I was really happy. So I was feeling a little bit more nerves than I should have. I played these holes before. I know how to par them and birdie some of them. But just knowing that I was doing really well kind of got in the back of my mind. I'm still learning to fight off those bad thoughts, which I think I did a pretty good job. This was the first time that I was in the top 10 at a course that kicked my butt before, and it is a very difficult course. So I just told myself, calm down, it's gonna be okay no matter what happens. You came here and did what you said you were gonna do. You played for par and you did a great job. So the back 9 was a little bit harder than the front 9. I was in the circle for a par or better for every hole, but I ended up missing 3 par putts that gave me 3 bogeys. So I ended that round at an even as well, which was also rated a 972. And I was very worried that that was not going to be enough for the top 10. So after I finished my round, there was only a couple cards behind me and was checking the scores, and I was very nervous because I think I could have been kicked out if something happened. But luckily, I was able to keep my tied for 9th spot, and it was my first top 10 finish. And it felt so good to come back from last year being 5th last to coming back and placing in the top 10. It was so awesome after the round going to the autograph tent. There were so many of you guys lined up to see me and congratulate me and say that you believed in me, and it made me feel so special. And I know I say this every single time, but meeting you guys out at these events, it just makes it even more fun. And I'm sorry that me and Chris are really awkward people. So a few things that I learned that week at Idlewild was 1, I can do it. I can come back to a course that I thought I could never play well at, and I can play well there. Another thing that I learned is par is underrated. If you're having a really hard time with something or a course, go in with a different outlook, thinking, how do I par this hole? It changes everything, and I think that's something that was really important that me and Chris figured out while we were at Idlewild practicing, because if you're playing for a birdie, it changes everything, and I tried to take that on with me for the rest of the season. I'm very excited to go back to Idlewild next year and hopefully play even better, because there's some birdies in there that I missed out on, and I know that I can go negative on that course. So my goal for next year is to go bogey-free at Idlewild, because I could have did that on the last round, and I am so sad that I missed those 3 par putts. So that is my goal for next year, and I hope that I can hit it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!